Hello, Namco Museum fans, and welcome to Special Episode 2. In this episode, I'll be going over the documentary of Galaga, one of my favorite arcade games I ever played. I was 6 or 7 when I played it on Namco Museum on the Xbox. It was created by Yokoyama, the video game designer of Namco. This game was everywhere on any Namco Museum game I ever played. Now, let's get started. Galaga was a fixed shooter game developed by Namco in 1981 and distributed by Midway. You play as a fighter and you must survive against a horde of mutant insects. The green insects has the ability to use the tractor beam, which you better watch out for. If you get captured by it, you'll lose a life and you'll have to free that fighter. Once you free that fighter, you get a dual fighter. It maximizes your firepower and it allows you to take out 2 enemies at once. However, you gotta be careful not to lose that fighter. There are challenging stages in that game. However, enemies don't attack you in that stage. But the main goal in the challenging stage is you have to destroy all the enemies before they disappear quickly. Once you destroy all the enemies, you get a bonus. Simple, isn't it? Well, not quite. The challenging stages will get harder and harder and harder no matter what you do. To make these challenging stages easier to destroy all enemies if you have a dual fighter. Galaga became a successful arcade game back in 1981. It does have a predecessor. Its predecessor is Galaxian. Galaxian was released in 1979. Pretty old game before Galaga. When I was a kid, I thought it was called Galaxin. Kinda goes when I say Galaxy. I see Galaxia and Galaga very different from each other. I see the enemies from Galaga as organic mutant insects, while I see enemies from Galaxian as robot drones. There are other Galaga games soon to follow, with different cosmetics, different gameplays, and different appearances. Gapless is another shooter game released in 1987. I was 12 when I played it on Namco Museum Mega Mix on the Wii. When I saw the name when I was 12 years old, I thought it's called Gapius or Galaxius. Don't know why. I may have pronounced it wrongly. In Gapless, you can move your ship from 8 directions. The enemy designs look very different. They don't use tractor beams like they did in Galaga. Instead, the queens, which they were called, carry some weapons called blaster heads. They act as power-ups. Once collected, you can use them to capture enemies to be your allies, speed up your ship in shots and twin shots, and slow down time, and also capture enemies and then shoot them down. The challenging stages are way different. In the challenging stages, you have to juggle with enemies. You have to keep juggling until you spell out the word. Once you see the word, you earn more points. And my most favorite of the arcade games is Galaga 88, released in 1987. It serves as a Japanese remake of Galaga, with improved graphics and character designs. I talked about it in episode 7 about making a request video on Galaga 88 Arrangement Arcade version. In Galaga 88, there are 29 stages throughout 8 worlds, and there are 5 dimensions. You travel to another dimension by collecting 2 warp capsules, and after the challenging stages, which is called Galactic Dancing because the enemies are dancing in formation, the warp capsules will take you to another dimension. Every time you warp into another dimension, the enemies will get harder and harder. Like those bat-looking creatures that emits 3 shurikens and then take 3 hits to take them out. And those bizarre-looking beetles that inflate every time you shoot them. After you shoot them 4 times, they pop. And those lobster-armed turtles and other creatures use their shells as invincible armor while in formation. There is a boss at the end, but there are different bosses depending on which dimension you're in, which is the main reason why it has 4 endings, which is serve as a part 1 and part 2 and part 3 and part 4 scenario. Then came the new games. My personal favorite is Galaga Arrangement Arcade version, which was released in 1995 on Namco Classics Collection Volume 1. I was 6 or 7 when I played it on Namco Museum on the Xbox. Similar gameplay like Galaga, but with newer enemies. There are power-ups in the game when your fighter gets captured by an enemy or a different type of enemy. There are power-ups like the wide shot, the fast shot, and the ricochet shot. There are 30 stages through 6 worlds. and 2 players can play at the same time, and there's a final boss battle at stage 30. When Namco Museum Battle Collection was released on the PSP in 2005, Galaga Arrangement CS version came to play. Different from Galaga Arrangement Arcade version, but with 3D backgrounds and 2D graphics designed for PSP's hardware. There are various power-ups in the game. There are boss battles throughout each world, and there are 6 worlds in this game. Then came Galaga Remix on the Wii in 2007 on Namco Museum Remix. I played it on Namco Museum Mega Mix, which is the updated version. In this game, you use the Wii Remote as a gun, and your main objective is to protect Pac-Man from enemy forces while he rolls through space to the goal. I don't have the gameplay, just the picture. Sorry folks. When 2008 comes Galaga Legions. In the game, you play as the fighter in 2 satellites. You use the right analog stick to lay a satellite onto a line to where the enemies are coming. Never got that far in the game because I keep getting killed. No wonder why I got so good at Galaga Legions DX, which was the updated version in 2011. Galaga X, which was released in 2006 on the iPhones. I played the updated version of Galaga X called Galaga Special Editions on the Kindle. Similar to Galaga Legions, but it's a prequel story. You only lay out 1 satellite. There are power-ups like lasers and missiles. I don't have the gameplay. Sorry folks. Then came Galaga 3D Impact, released in 2011 on the Nintendo 3DS. I don't have the gameplay because I don't know how to record from Nintendo 3DS. In this game, you fly the fighter in first-person view, and you use the Nintendo 3DS as a targeting system or gyro sensors, and your main goal is to survive a horde of enemies and then reach the boss. There are 5 levels to complete. Galaga Wars was a free-to-play game released in 2016. In the game, you choose which fighter you want to play as, and then your goal is to survive a horde of enemies while scoring as many points as you can. It was played on Kindle or any Android device. The Galaga series was a complete success in the 80s, which is the main reason why Galaga Assault was released in 2010s. The series has been on every Namco Museum game, especially when it comes to Galaga 30th Anniversary Collection, which I played on my father's iPad when I was 12. That's concluded for the Galaga series, and there will be more documentaries soon to follow. In 2 weeks, we'll be talking about the Dig Dug series. See you in 2 weeks.